ultimate, and I mean the ultimate track day or club racing coil-over spring and shock package. Kerry, can you hand me the box? Okay. And I guess you can pretty much figure out what's in this box. That's the box that JRZ's come in. I mean, I keep telling you people, this is our premium shock absorber, and and I'm going to share a little bit with you why. Now that's a pretty nifty box. Now when the shocks come here, they're completely mounted in foam, so nothing moves. But what I do before you get the shocks, I'll get them all set up, I'll get them all put together, I'll do the initial adjustment, you'll get a setup sheet that goes with it, and then we'll package them up and then ship them off to you, so it's just kind of like install. So the set that they want to show you today is the RS Pro, which is a double adjustable with a remote canister. And this is what they look like for an S197. And see, you've got the hose for the remote canister. And the way I set them up is we talked about the torsion release bearing on the bottom, the main spring, the helper spring to keep it in place. And then, of course, we've got the camber plate on top, and then the rebound adjustments on top of that. And I've got taped on here, so I won't forget to tell you. They come with a spanner wrench to adjust the ride height. But what I include is a 1.5 millimeter Allen. And what that's for is, for taking the rebound adjustments off and on. And what I do, this is a small Allen, and in my toolbox, I put a piece of blue tape on it, so I don't have to every time go digging to figure out which one it was, or if I keep it someplace, it doesn't get lost. And it's harder to lose Allen wrench with blue tape on it. So that's kind of the double adjustable front. And then the canister, and the canister is the bump adjust, the rebound is on the top. But what also makes these kind of cool, notebook, is of course you get stickers. I mean, where could you go without stickers? Lots of stickers. And then we throw the iBox spring stickers in with that too. It comes with an instruction guide. That doesn't show up very well. And it's really cool when you open the box. There's two of these little foam pads on the very top. And they're for if you're setting if you're setting a shock on the bench, you got something to set it on. But the other pad, I don't know if you can see this. It actually, it's pretty faint. It comes. This is signed by, can't read his name, but he was hand built and tested by this person, and this person over here signed off on it. So when I say these are custom built to order, I mean these are custom built to order. So you're going to know who built your shock, even though you can't read it. You can't read anybody's signature, really. So that's the front. You've got the remote canister, and oh, this is something that's kind of I like ordering. This is a quick disconnect, and the reason is you've got to mount this canister somewhere, typically inside the car, under the hood someplace where you can get to it easily, or in the trunk where you can get to it easily. And to get it there, if you didn't have a quick disconnect, you're going to have to make like a 3-inch hole to pass this whole thing through, and you got a 3-inch hole to plug. But with the quick disconnect, you're down to like maybe 1.5 inch hole to pass that through. And when you do, you always want to, anytime you put a hole through a body, and you pass something through it, you always want to get a rubber grommet around the outside of the hole so there's no rough edges. Now, the thing is with these, these are high pressure gas filled. It's nitrogen. And what you have to do is you have to carefully bleed some of the pressure off so you can actually, unbolting it and uncooking it's easy, just to pop apart. But to get it back together, you need to bleed some of the pressure off so that you can actually get them hooked up, and then you can repressure them down here on the bottom. And then on the setup sheet that you get from me, it'll have the initial adjustment. It'll also have the pressures that they're set at initially. And you can play with pressures, and that's something that you don't want to do on your own. You need to talk to me if you're really dialing in shocks. pressures. I can use pressures to help a few things, but I don't want you to even try to adjust pressure on your own, because this is like, I think it's around 200 pounds of pressure in the front, maybe 180 in the back. I'd have to look on my spec sheet for this set of shocks. So that kind of gives you an idea of this how much pressure's in there. And the whole idea of pressure is it helps keep the fluid from cavitating. It just keeps everything locked in place so everything works together. And these are monotube. I think we talked about before, there's like twin tube, regular twin tube low gas pressure, and monotube high gas pressure. Well, this is monotube, which means there's only one tube. Unlike like a street shock that has twin tubes, this is one tube, one valving piece in the middle, and everything adjusts from there. So, and then go to the back. The back is kind of the same. This is the high pressure bump adjust, rebound adjust. Now, I do something special. Any of our coilover shocks that retain the bayonet mount in the original mounting position, because we're putting all the spring load through that mounting point, we go to, instead of rubber, I use a Delrin bushing on the bottom and the hard rubber bushing on top. Just because we're putting a lot of load, and if you've got a rubber bushing, even a urethane bushing, with the amount of load that's going through these things, it's going to squash. So, you know, we started a long time ago, started going to that Delrin, so it's pretty much rock solid. It's going to be locked in place, and then with a softer rubber on top, I'll take a little bit of the NVH out, but not a lot. But we're not considering NVH, we're working on how good the shocks work. And they are just, and these are just brilliant shocks. I mean, they really, really work. Like I say, this is the ultimate set of shocks for track days, or even club racing. I mean, these will work perfect in club racing, more so than some of the other shocks that you can get over the counter. And then if you go into pro racing, then I showed you many weeks back about the motorsport shocks, which are, that takes everything up another level, because their motorsport shocks is their primary business is race shocks, and they built some pretty wickedly awesome race shocks, and they've got huge reputation. In fact, this is on the box, this is their 25th year of building shock absorbers, and the owners of JRZ, and JRZ stands for the names of three people that started it. Actually, they were originally in the Coney racing program, obviously 30 years ago, and then they decided to do their own shock program, which turned out to be amazing. So that's kind of like the ultimate in track day and club racing shocks.